Hello, myself Arpita. I'm working into clinical research. I started as a recruiter. Over the period of time, I switched my career from clinical research educator and mentor by preparing and helping the students for industry jobs. In my career, I have placed thousands of the students by understanding and understanding demand and requirement from the industry. I found that students are not prepared for the clinical research or industry jobs. So I switched my career as a clinical research mentor and educator, and by developing their technical and corporate skills. My students are basically from diversified backgrounds like MBBS, pharmacy, dentals, MScs and BScs, other life sciences backgrounds. I'm placing them in a clinical research industry in India, UK, US, Canada, all over the world. In this video, I'm going to talk about what is clinical research, and in my later videos we are going to discuss about career opportunities in clinical research. If you want to continue getting the details about the clinical research, subscribe my channel and hit notification button. Let's start with the terms of understanding clinical research. Clinical research is a study or experiment where we are checking safety and efficacy of drugs before marketing but on human. Now it is not only about the drug, but it is also about vaccines, devices, therapy, medical strategy, treatments, etc. Why clinical research is important? Clinical research is important to find out a new drug, maybe a better drug, dose frequency, dose amount, maybe a rescue medications, concomitant medications, adverse event, serious adverse event, contraindications, warnings during the medicines consumptions, labeling, maybe off-label use, scope of drug abuse, and so on. Clinical research has major 4 sections. 1. Clinical operation. 2nd. Clinical data management, which is known as a CDM. 3rd. Pharmacovigilance, which is known as an PV. 4th. Business development, which is known as business development, BD, either of BD. Now, in these particular videos, we are going to discuss about most important segment of clinical trials, which is clinical operations. Clinical operations, that means we are experimenting directly on humans by administering a drugs and observing and recording all the details in particular form or the format. That is known as an clinical operations. Clinical operations is having 4 phases: phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 and phase 4. Before understanding clinical trials, you need to know about animal testing. Animal testing, that means administering a particular dose in a smallest amount in animal to check the safety. That is also known as in preclinical trials. Now these preclinical trials is observed by pharmaceuticals company. Yes, you need to know that preclinical trials or animal testing is not a part of clinical research. Now clinical research, these data from animal testing is really important to get the license to have the permission to conduct clinical research on human beings. Once permission is granted by regulatory authority or licensing authority, phase 1 is initiated. Phase 1 is focused on healthy human volunteers, and we are checking the safety on human metabolism and tolerability in a human metabolism. It lasts up to few months or 1 year, and subject populations would be 50 to 100. And once again, we need to gather all the data of phase 1 and submitted these data to the regulatory authority or licensing authority to have the permission for the phase 2 trials. After checking safety in phase 1, we can initiate phase 2 trial. Now phase 2 trial is focused on the patient population. We are checking safety and efficacy both in patient populations. The number of patients is approximate 100 to 500. Its duration of a phase 2 trial is 1 to 2 years. And again, we are checking these safety and efficacy in a phase 2 on patient population. Once all data from phase 2 is submitted to regulatory authority, and we can get a note for the phase 3 trial, we can initiate the phase 3. Now, goal of the phase 3 trial to reassure the same safety and efficacy what we have received in a phase 2 in a mass populations. Again, a patient population, but 100 to 1000 subject population is last up to 2 to 5 years, and this is the most time consuming trials. When we are checking a human drug human interactions, when we are checking a multiple effects of multiple drugs effects within a human metabolism with our experimental drug. So phase 3, once we are gathering all the data from the phase 3 and submit it to regulatory authorities, but it is this time it is for the marketing approval. Means after phase 3 we are submitting applications to get the marketing approval. Successful phase 3 trials data is submitted to regulatory authority to get the marketing approval. Once we are getting marketing approval, pharmacovigilance, that means phase 4 is initiated. Once we are ready with the phase 4 trial, we need to we need to understand what is a phase 4 before that. Phase 4 is all about seeing long-term serious adverse event in real world, or rather you can say into the regular medical practices. Now this phase 4 is entirely big chapter. We are definitely going to discuss in our further lectures. If you let me know if you have any comments, if you have any query, please put down in the comment box. I'll definitely try to answer that things. And if you understanding and like my videos, hit the like button. Thank you so much.